Picture this. A dog is loaded into a car at a rural property in the American Midwest. The family is moving, new state, new home, fresh start. Somewhere along that journey, the dog gets separated. No collar update. No GPS tag. Just a dog standing on an unfamiliar roadside watching the only people it has ever loved disappear over the horizon. 4 months later, that same dog scratches at a door it has never seen before, in a town it has never been to, and the person who opens it collapses to their knees in disbelief. This is not a legend. This is a documented case, and the explanation is even more extraordinary than the story. Before we get into the science, and we absolutely will get into the science, because what researchers have discovered about how dogs navigate is genuinely mind-bending. I want to acknowledge something first. If you've ever lost a dog, even temporarily, you know that specific kind of dread. The way your stomach drops. The way you find yourself driving the same 3 streets at midnight calling a name into the dark. And you probably asked yourself the same question millions of pet owners have asked. Does my dog actually know where I am? Does it even know what home means the way I do? Those questions are not sentimental. They are scientific. And they have real answers. By the end of this video, you are going to understand not just what happened in this extraordinary documented case, but why it happened, the biological systems at work inside your dog right now that most people never think about. We're talking about magnetic field sensitivity, scent mapping across hundreds of miles, memory architecture that works nothing like yours, but is in some ways far more powerful. This story is a window into something most of us take completely for granted every single day. So let us start at the beginning with a dog standing alone on the side of a road and what it did next. The case most researchers and animal behaviorists point to when discussing long-distance canine navigation isn't a myth passed around on social media. It's a documented account involving a dog that traveled approximately 2,000 miles over roughly 4 months. Crossing terrain it had never encountered, through weather that should have killed it, to arrive at a specific address it had. No logical way of knowing existed. The owners had moved to a new home after the dog went missing during the relocation process. Let that land for a second. The dog didn't return to the old house. It found the new one, a place it had never been. Now, if you are sitting there thinking, wait, how is that even possible? You are asking exactly the right question. And the answer requires us to look at 3 separate biological systems that work together in a dog in ways that, honestly, should make us completely rethink how we perceive animal intelligence. Let us start with the one that surprises people the most. Magnetoreception. Dogs can sense the Earth's magnetic field. This sounds like science fiction. It isn't. Research published in the journal Frontiers in Zoology confirmed that dogs have a functional magnetic sense. In controlled studies, dogs showed a strong preference for aligning their bodies along a north-south axis during certain behaviors, particularly during open field activity when the magnetic field was calm and undisturbed. What this tells scientists is that dogs are not just reacting to smells or sounds or visual landmarks. They carry an internal compass, a biological GPS that runs constantly, whether the dog is aware of it or not. Think about what that means for a dog standing alone on an unfamiliar roadside, while you or I would spin around in confusion, trying to find a recognizable building or sign. A dog is already receiving directional data from the planet itself. It knows, not in a conscious, deliberate way, but in a deep instinctual way, which direction is which. And if it has a destination encoded somewhere in its memory, it can begin moving toward it. But magnetoreception alone doesn't explain how a dog finds a specific person at a specific address. For that, we need to talk about the nose. A dog's sense of smell is estimated to be anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000 times more sensitive than a human's. You've probably heard that statistic before, but here's what nobody tells you about what that actually means functionally. It doesn't just mean a dog can smell things you cannot. It means a dog experiences smell as a landscape, as a 3-dimensional, time-stamped map of everything that has ever moved through a space. When researchers study search and rescue dogs, they find that these animals aren't just following a scent trail from point A to point B like a straight line on a map. They are reading layers: old scent, fresh scent, scent carried by wind currents from miles away. They can detect the difference between a scent laid down 2 hours ago and one laid down 2 days ago. They can follow a trail that crosses water, that traverses terrain changes, that disappears under snow and reemerges on the other side. Now apply that to a dog searching for its owner across 2 states. Every human being on this planet leaves a unique olfactory signature, a combination of skin cells, sweat compounds, gut microbiome byproducts, and environmental residue that is as individual as a fingerprint. Your dog doesn't just know your smell. It knows your smell the way you know your own name. It is the single most deeply encoded piece of sensory information your dog carries. And here's what's remarkable. That scent doesn't disappear when you leave a room. It lingers. It drifts. It accumulates along paths of travel. A dog moving through an unfamiliar landscape isn't searching blindly. It is reading an invisible trail of information that you left behind without ever knowing it. In certain atmospheric conditions, a human scent can be detectable from over a mile away. For a dog covering ground daily, that's an extraordinary advantage. But we are still not fully explaining the new house, the place the dog had never been before. This is where the third system comes in, and it is the one that animal behaviorists find most fascinating and most difficult to fully explain with current science: social bonding and directional motivation. Dogs are not wolves. A lot of people think of domesticated dogs as basically tamed wild animals, but that's not quite right. Over roughly 15,000 years of coevolution with humans, dogs have developed something that no other species on Earth has developed to the same degree: a biological orientation towards specific humans. Not humans in general, specific ones. Research from Játvos Lárand University in Hungary, the same team behind some of the most important canine cognition studies ever conducted, found that dogs process their owner's face and voice in specialized ways that are genuinely analogous to how humans process other humans. They're not just recognizing you, they are emotionally anchored to you. What this means behaviorally is that a separated dog isn't wandering. It is motivated. There is a directional pull that operates at a level deeper than conscious thought. Pair that with the magnetic compass and the scent landscape, and you begin to understand how a dog doesn't just stumble across a long distance. It navigates it with a kind of relentless biological purpose. Now, about that new house. This is where the story gets genuinely strange and wonderful. Researchers believe that long before the family moved, the dog would have been accumulating scent information associated with the family's social network. The people they interacted with, the routes they traveled, the locations that appeared repeatedly in shared life. The new home, while unknown to the dog directly, would have existed within a web of human scent trails connected to the owners. Neighbors, relatives, delivery routes. People whose scent the dog had encountered before, who had also been to that new address. In a landscape of invisible information, there is no such thing as a completely unknown location, not to a nose that's sensitive. And then there's the research that remains genuinely unexplained. Multiple documented cases, not just this one, involve dogs finding owners at locations that cannot be explained purely by scent trails or magnetic orientation. Locations where there is no physical scent connection that researchers can identify. Some scientists have begun seriously investigating whether dogs have a capacity for what they call sight-railing, a term that makes some researchers deeply uncomfortable because it edges toward territory that science hasn't fully mapped. Yet, it doesn't mean supernatural. It may mean we haven't identified the biological mechanism yet. The history of science is full of things that seemed impossible until someone found the mechanism. Magnetoreception was once in that category. Here's what we know with confidence. The dog in this documented case survived 4 months of independent travel across 2 states. It maintained a body weight consistent with regular hunting and foraging, meaning it was functioning, not just surviving. Witnesses along the route reported seeing a dog moving with what several described as clear directional purpose. Not a lost dog circling, not a confused animal, a dog going somewhere. And when it arrived, thin, paws worn, fur matted, it sat at a door and waited. Not frantic, not wild-eyed, it waited. Like it had always known this was where the journey ended. The owner, who had spent 4 months in grief, opened the door expecting nothing, and found everything. That moment is important not just emotionally but scientifically, because the dog's behavior at arrival, calm, deliberate, oriented specifically toward its person and not just the building, tells researchers something significant. This was not an accidental convergence. The dog was not confused about whether it had found the right place. It knew. Whatever combination of magnetic data, scent memory, social bonding architecture, and possibly mechanisms we haven't yet named, it had worked. So what does this mean for your dog? The one currently asleep on your couch or watching you from across the room right now. It means the relationship you think you have with your dog is almost certainly deeper than you realize. The bond your dog has formed with you is not just behavioral, it is biological. It is wired into the way your dog processes the world. Your scent is encoded in a part of its brain dedicated to the most critical survival information it carries. Your voice activates emotional centers in ways that researchers are still mapping. When your dog watches you leave a room, it isn't just waiting for you to come back. It is tracking you in ways that are invisible to you but completely real to it. This also means, and this part matters practically, that the single most important thing you can do for your dog's sense of safety and stability is be present consistently. Not perfectly, consistently. A dog navigating uncertainty draws on its map of you. The stronger and clearer that map, the more settled and secure your dog will be in situations that would otherwise be overwhelming. The story of a dog walking 2,000 miles isn't just a remarkable anomaly. It's an extreme expression of something that is happening in a quieter form inside your dog every single day. A constant, low-level orientation toward you. A biological commitment that predates your dog's birth by thousands of years of shared evolutionary history. When you understand that, really understand it, you stop seeing your dog's attachment as cute or inconvenient depending on the day. You start seeing it for what it actually is. The most sophisticated loyalty system that evolution has ever produced between two different species. Running continuously, pointed at you. If this story changed the way you think about your dog, even slightly, then do something with that. Go find your dog right now. Sit with it for 5 minutes without your phone. Because while you've been watching this, your dog has been doing what it always does, keeping track of exactly where you are. The research doesn't lie. The bond is real, it is biological, and it runs deeper than most of us ever stop to appreciate. If you want to understand more about the science behind how your dog thinks, feels, and experiences the world, the next video picks up exactly where this one leaves off. It's worth your time. Thanks for watching. If you loved this video, scan the QR code on the screen right now to subscribe and join the Pawsome Life family. Give your dog a belly rub for us, and we will see you in the next video.